The following program was produced by the students of the Brian Lamb School of Communication at Purdue University.
On this edition of Fast Track, we take a look at one of the largest fundraising events on Purdue's campus.
I may not be here today without the treatment that I'm receiving, and that wasn't made possible without donations.
We get an inside look at the recovery process of running back DJ Knox and how he overcame his torn ACL.
And looking back, we recall a story of two Purdue professors using a creative method to reduce the symptoms of Parkinson's disease.
Fast Track starts now.
Hello, and welcome back to our final edition of Fast Track for this semester. Coming to you from the Memorial Mall, I'm Ashton Naughty.
I'm Danielle DeCapua.
I'm Riley Kristen.
And I'm Brad Pushkar. We're going to begin with a story that shows a lot of school spirit and support for a local charity. The Purdue Dance Marathon has been going on for a few years now, and students are still excited to support it each year. I spent some of the night in the co-rec, hear the stories of those helping Riley Children's Hospital and those helped by it. Students falling in love with PUDM isn't a rare story. Take Jackson Otto, for instance.
I basically fell in love with Dance Marathon.
He joined his high school's dance marathon his senior year, and seeing the stories that each kid at Riley shared has meant a lot to him.
And it really just makes you realize how much of a difference you're making, like who you're actually helping and like working towards changing their lives.
He doesn't have a close relationship with any kids at Riley, unlike Tyler Trent, a Riley kid who's also attending Purdue and is still amazed at the support PUDM gets.
I may not be here today without the treatment that I'm receiving, and that wasn't made possible without donations.
What matters the most to both is the effect that these students are having on other Riley kids.
Not to be like cliche, but it's literally for the kids. Like everything we do with the intention of helping these kids.
Over 2,000 college students who are worried about their grades, who are worried about their exams, worried about relationships, friendships, the millions of things that life throws at us to be worried about. Taking 18 hours to take the eyes off themselves and to put it on kids who are in a much, honestly, worse situation than they are. That's really what it means.
For Fast Track, I'm Brad Pushkar. They actually broke a record this year, raising $1,125,239.19.
Congratulations, that's amazing. Now to a story of strength and perseverance. Purdue running back DJ Knox is a 5'7", 210-pound junior who's bouncing back from a serious injury. He took a hard hit when he tore his ACL last year, but as Sydney Tucker tells us, he's come back even stronger.
Junior running back DJ Knox is unstoppable on the field. Unfortunately, he came to an abrupt stop when he tore his ACL during the 2016 spring game.
I actually tore my ACL my sophomore year here at Purdue in the spring, going into my junior year, and I tore it in the spring game. I tore my left ACL, and the way we did the surgery was they took 1/3 of my tendon out of my patella tendon on my right leg, and they made a new ACL in that left. So I had to get both legs operated on. Initially, at the time of the injury, I didn't exactly know how serious it was because, this was my first time experiencing something this dramatic. Confusion, frustration, because I knew that it was going to be a long process and it was going to take a lot to bounce back from it. But I knew that I had it within me to get back to the same level I was at or even better, maybe. At the time, I really didn't know how I would be as a player when I bounced back. Like, I didn't know if I'd be able to make the same cuts or keep the same speed or have the same strength within my legs. And it's just something that you don't know because at the time, the injury is so significant, you don't necessarily know if you'll be able to be the same player you were before. It wasn't too bad until the pain meds from the surgery kind of wore off a little bit. And that's when, things started getting tough because you have to, bear with the pain and you still have to work and try and rehab your knees back and things like that.
Undergoing surgery on both knees simultaneously, it can take a heavy mental toll, which then leads you to prepare for the worst. In this situation, DJ Knox was able to bounce back, making a full recovery.
I started working on things off the field because I didn't necessarily know what my on the field future would be. Just started taking things more serious, and it kind of opened my eyes, especially like workouts. Every little rep counts. And you know, those are some of the things that guys skip and they don't necessarily think about because they've never lost it before, so they never had to regain it. And you know, once you go through something like that, you start to not take things for granted and understand that it could be gone at any moment. So you cherish every moment and give it everything you have. And I feel like I'm actually better mentally. Just going through the injury, it just made me not stress on little things that I worried about before. And now I can see the bigger picture and I allocate my time better. And I definitely do want to try and take my talents to the NFL. Hopefully, if the Lord is willing and things work out the way that I'm hoping for them to work out. That's definitely a goal of mine, but you know, if not, I have a great education from Purdue that I'm pursuing right now, and hopefully those things go the way that I want them to.
Okay. And we should find out this weekend where Purdue football will play a bowl game this year. It can include the Pinstripe Bowl in New York City, Music City Bowl in Nashville, and the Motor City Bowl in Detroit.
Awesome. Well, still to come on Fast Track, we take a look back at some of the highlights from this past year. We'll be right back.
So the Brian Lamb School of Communication has a long tradition as a department of communication originally, so well over 100-year tradition.
There has been communication here in the teaching of speech and organizational communication and other things for decades.
We have a very vibrant, I think, curriculum for our students in 5 different areas of communication.
It's everything from human relations and communication about relationships to public relations to communication within organizations to video production.
I think we attract really a variety of students who are interested in learning about communication skills, but then also being able to use those skills in a variety of settings.
Students have a lot of chances to get real, practical, applied experience, hands-on learning.
The classes that I've taken have definitely helped me grow in the career that I want, and I could not imagine taking any of these classes anywhere else.
I think a great part of our curriculum is when we have alumni who come back to classes and talk to students.
The networking is incredible through this program. We're all over the nation and even all over the world. I've actually had an internship where a Purdue grad was working there full time, and it was at Warner Brothers Studios.
I think when people hear about Purdue University, their first thoughts are probably engineering and astronauts. I'd like for students who aren't necessarily interested in being astronauts or engineers to also think about Purdue, but in terms of the Brian Lamb School of Communication.
Also very excited to see what my future holds because of Purdue, and I know I'm fully prepared because of the Brian Lamb School.
Being involved in the 3-year program at Purdue made it easier to say to myself I could get done in 3 years. The 3-year program helped save me a ton of money. Not completing my 4th year, I would save around $30,000. It will give you an advantage, if anything. Doing the 3-year program at Purdue has shown me that I have motivation to do whatever it takes to get my degree.
Welcome back. Purdue has always been known for its astronauts and engineers, but in the future it may also be known for making leaders in the brewing industry.
That's right. We're taking a look back when I met with a few people here at Purdue who are all about the brewing industry. Sophomore Mary Claire Palczynski takes pride in explaining her major.
When I go home over the breaks and have to explain to all my aunts and uncles that I'm getting a food science major, they don't really know what I'm going to do with that. And so when I tell them I'll be making alcohol when I graduate, they really don't think I'm doing something productive, but it's course plan, it's a top-renowned program.
Palczynski is also proud to tell others about the program's newest accomplishment.
Boiler Gold, it's a delicious session beer.
Dr. Brian Farkas is the head of the food science program at Purdue that recently teamed up with People's Brewery to create the Boiler Gold American Golden Ale.
A product that I think people will really enjoy with football, basketball, at parties, things like that, that is not overly hoppy, overly malty, overly obtrusive in any way.
Selling out so quickly and doing so well is just showing that like it's such a strong focus and such a strong thing for Purdue to start getting into, because there's a very good demand for it. And if there's a demand, why not meet it?
Along with Boiler Gold being a success, the proceeds from its sales go back to the university.
Alumni and Purdue supporters can feel good that they are supporting ultimately agriculture and agricultural research at Purdue University.
And with that research, the food science program is now able to offer fermentation as a minor.
Ultimately, we are here to produce graduates that stay in Indiana and grow our economy, and that's what this is about.
Legally, I'm not 21 years old yet, but I do plan on minoring in fermentation.
Now, Palczynski can take pride in another part of her studies.
It makes class a little more enjoyable when you can go and you're strictly talking about beer for the day, or cheese, or other fermentation-based products.
You can find the Boiler Gold at the 1869 Tap Room, as well as Purdue sporting events.
And from something new to something that's been around for almost a century and still gets Purdue fans excited every time they see it. Built in 1921, the Purdue Big Bass Drum has become an icon and the heartbeat of Purdue. I had the opportunity to sit down with the drum crew to learn more about the world's largest drum.
The world's largest drum has been a symbol of Purdue for years, but what you might not know is that there's a whole team behind the drum.
My name's Will Traub, and I'm the captain of the Big Bass Drum crew.
Now this drum is not actually the world's largest, but it still is record-breaking.
Well, the moniker behind it is the world's largest freestanding bass drum, which means it's made just like the regular ones what you would wear, it's just way bigger. Freestanding means there's no internal supports or any kind of structural roping holding it up. So it's not the world's largest anymore, but it's the world's largest freestanding drum.
This drum is an important piece of Purdue's tradition, and being a part of the drum crew makes Captains Will and Brad feel like they're a part of history.
I mean, the band is such an icon of Purdue, and especially the drum, really. You know, it was made in 1921. It's Purdue's oldest icon, and it gives me a way to be an ambassador for Purdue and really represent our school. So I'm really grateful, and I take it very seriously.
And being a part of the Big Bass Drum crew isn't as easy as it may look. There's actually a pretty rigorous tryout process.
Well, there's a set of physical tryouts, which consist of push-ups, sit-ups, a 100-meter sprint, a 400-meter sprint, and a 1.5-mile run, as well as a history test. You have to know every bit of history of this drum, and you have to pass all those to be considered a part of the drum crew.
And besides being seen at home football games, the Big Bass Drum crew is also a unique part of the local community.
We'll do Boo at the Zoo, for instance, over in Lafayette at the Columbia Park. We'll go over there and we'll perform during Halloween. We'll take a whole night and we'll just set up shop in the corner of the zoo. We'll do events like that. I've been to a couple community centers with the drum in past just to help support whatever cause was going on at the time.
And all these events add up.
For general fall stuff, it's about 10 hours a week with practices and then a 10-hour day normally with game days, except this Saturday is an exception. It's about a 14-hour day. So I'd say on average about 25 hours a week coming in the fall.
But for Will, the hectic schedule is well worth it.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I get to go places and represent one of the world's oldest icons. The drum behind me is 96 years old. I mean, there's not another drum like that in the world, and I get to go with it in all kinds of places. It's truly humbling to be a part of something this old with this much history to it.
The next event for the All-American Marching Band and the Big Bass Drum crew will be this Friday evening for the first home football game at Ross-Ade Stadium. And you might even notice something a little different about the drum.
Now I'm hoping the lights will make a return. Like they'll literally be attached to our uniform and the drum as well. So hopefully the lights will make a return next Friday.
We got a show to run. Nothing's going to change. It's going to be a great show as usual.
Danielle DiCapua, Fast Track News.
And we'll get to see that drum again at Purdue's bowl game later this month.
Next, we'll hear from an inspirational young Boilermaker and take a look on how 2 professors are changing the future of Parkinson's treatment. Stay with us.
One of the things that I really enjoy about being a professor at Purdue and being able to interact with students is that oftentimes I get emails from students several years on after they've graduated saying like, your course changed the way that I look at sport. Your course changed the way that I think about our society. My research focuses on the amount of coverage and the type of coverage of men's and women's sports on televised news and sports highlight shows. What kinds of stories are the media telling about sports, and then how does that inform and impact the way we think about gender and race? My freshman year, everything was about boys football and boys basketball. We didn't have the language or the ability to articulate or to know better that if we were supporting the boys team, we should have been supporting the girls team as well. So I was really interested in kind of learning more about the cultural aspects of why some of those gender differences might exist. The problem that I'm trying to solve is how do we address the larger inequalities within sport that relate specifically to sociocultural factors. For me, that's important. It's just exposing students to a different way of thinking about and seeing their world.
Welcome back. Earlier in the show, we heard from Tyler Trent at PUDM, but we also spoke with him earlier this year. And he showed me how fighting cancer and helping others are one and the same.
My first semester freshman year has been unlike anything that I expected it to be.
It's been a crazy start to Tyler Trent's college career. He's joined the paint crew, camped out for homecoming football, and battled against bone cancer.
The first thing I told my oncologist was, just so you know, I'm going to school, and you're not stopping me.
And he hasn't stopped. Tyler is having experiences not many other students can say they have, like camping out for football games.
We set up right there right in that corner right there.
Like kind of run under that speaker in a way?
Yeah, no, exactly under that speaker, right in the corner.
And being an honorary team captain.
I had said to the Purdue Cancer Research guys, hey, if you need someone to be the face of Hammer Down Cancer, I'm here. I'm a student. And through that, they just contacted, I'm not even sure who they contacted, but contacted someone, and then someone from athletics emailed me and said, hey, do you want to be the honorary team captain for the football game? And I was like, absolutely.
Others in his situation might let the challenges overwhelm them, and he respects that.
People tend to suppress their experiences and their stories, their hardships, because they view them as a negative thing, and they're not. Everyone is shaped off their experiences, whether they are positive or whether they are negative. It changes who you are and how you act.
And that's why he wants others to speak up around him as well.
I'm not going out of my way necessarily to say, oh, I'm the kid with cancer, and you should listen to my story, because I want to listen to your story. And I want to hear about your experiences and how they've changed and how they shaped you, because they're really important.
Former basketball head coach Gene Cady shares the same feelings on cancer as Tyler.
We got to whip that crap some way.
Some way, somehow.
Yep. Keep giving money.
But even before it's whipped, Tyler will keep moving forward. For Fast Track, I'm Brad Pushkar.
Tyler really seems like such a genuine kid, and I think you would never really know that he was fighting such a tough battle.
Oh, no, he has been such an amazing person to meet this year, and I'm really glad I've gotten to share his story.
Now let's take a look back at a story of two Purdue professors who are taking a fun and creative approach to improving the symptoms of Parkinson's disease. Researchers Jeff Haddad and Jessica Huber are using the Nintendo Wii gaming system in a pretty interesting way at Purdue University.
So we're developing a technique for Parkinson's patients to improve their balance and cognition.
The two have teamed up to study how to improve balance and memory for Parkinson's patients.
A patient with Parkinson's disease has a degenerative disease, so that means it's getting worse over time. And the disease can affect several domains.
Patients with Parkinson's typically develop a tremor in their hands and a stooped posture while walking.
As far as gait and balance is concerned, they have a hard time sometimes with walking. They'll take small steps. They won't lift their feet as much when they walk.
In addition to motor skills, Parkinson's also affects an individual's ability to balance.
There's a reflex in our body that rights us. If we lean one way or another, we automatically right. And that reflex is impaired as Parkinson's disease progresses. And so all of these things make them less stable. On top of that, they have some cognitive change that makes it harder to do everyday tasks, which are generally multi-component.
The duo at Purdue is using motion sensing platforms like the Nintendo Wii to study and improve these symptoms in Parkinson's patients.
So the idea is we use repurposed gaming technology where they have to stand on either a Wii board, or we're also using a Microsoft Kinect, some kind of peripheral that will measure their body movements. And while they are interfacing with this repurposed gaming technology, they're facing a computer screen. And on that computer screen, there's a cursor that represents how their body's moving.
Students at Purdue have helped develop 3 different games that Jeff and Jessica have used in junction with the motion sensing boards to improve the symptoms of Parkinson's.
Essentially what these games are supposed to do is challenge different aspects of executive function, and specifically the aspects of executive function that are known to decrease with Parkinson's disease.
The simulations help improve motor skills and cognitive abilities simultaneously.
So kind of what we've tried to do is kind of put those two together with the idea that most of the things we do aren't just motor, aren't just cognitive, but people do these things simultaneously, and most of the skills you do in your daily life involve both of those.
Eventually, Jeff and Jessica hope the program can be used as year-round physical therapy.
They have a limited number of sessions that they can see a physical therapist for, and often their disease will decline across the whole year, but they'll only have this small chunk of physical therapy. So the idea is to extend treatment over their entire year.
And so far, they have seen promising preliminary success in the program.
We've seen that there are aspects of communication that improve. That's kind of my area.
And we did find that people stabilize themselves more when doing things with their hands, precision things with their hands after training.
So the outcomes of the therapy are directly in line with improvements on some of the basic things that we see impact stability in Parkinson's disease.
Although only the first stage has been completed, the positive results coming from our own campus are already showing the potential of the program and the creativity and intelligence that this university fosters.
Still to come, one of our favorite segments. We'll take a look back at one of the local restaurants we visited on an edition of Purdue Eats. We'll be right back.
If you're a student who would like to save thousands of dollars and also show the world that you're a real go-getter, here's a way to do it. I hope every graduate of our College of Liberal Arts shares my intense pride in the college for its new innovation, the Degree in 3 program. Special congratulations to all those enterprising liberal arts students who want to come get a first-rate liberal arts education and do it on a faster track.
Welcome back. This past semester, I was lucky enough to visit all kinds of unique local restaurants. On the second edition of Purdue Eats, I went to a West Lafayette restaurant that does its part to feed and help the local community. So we are here at Café Literato. I'm with Craig. What are we going to make today?
I think we're going to start with the Mediterrano pizza, one of our favorites.
All right, what's in that?
We have a pesto mixed with a pizza sauce, Italian sausage, sun-dried tomatoes, black olives, balsamic onions, and feta cheese.
A lot of stuff in there,
yeah,
isn't it?
It's a lot.
All right, let's get to it.
All right. So we'll start with our dough that we just press.
Did you make the dough yourself?
Yeah, so we make our dough in the back of the house, and then it's portioned out prior to service. So we'll start with a mix of a marinara and pesto.
Okay.
And then a little bit of mozzarella.
Mozzarella, yum.
Some sun-dried tomatoes. Italian sausage. Black olives. a few balsamic onions, and we'll top it off with some feta cheese. And then we toss that in the oven for about 6 or 7 minutes.
Looks good.
Good. Mediterranean pizza. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
How long have you been here?
We're going on 4 years this October.
So why did your owners choose the name Café Literato?
It comes from the Latin word for literature. It kind of is based off that, and so that's how we came up with that. We like the idea for people to come and kind of hang out and be able to study and read the paper and get a cup of coffee, and being so close to Purdue and having all those students there as well.
What makes Café Literato different from any other cafe?
The Italian kind of inspired ingredients, fresh ingredients, everything's basically made in-house. To have that, and also the presence I think we bring to the community, and getting away from a lot of the chains that are in the area, and just having something different to offer folks.
Damien, your order's ready?
And this restaurant is serving more than dishes. They're also serving up smiles.
A big part of our business is regulars, and I see people in here sometimes for breakfast and lunch. A lot of police officers and firemen and such are in here multiple times a week. So it's nice to see continual faces, and it it feels good. It makes you think that you're doing a good job when people keep coming back.
So what does Café Literato do to help the community?
So we offer major discounts to police and firemen, donate a lot of products such as food and money and gift cards and stuff to various charities and events in the community.
We don't ask for it, they just automatically give it to us, but yeah.
And there's been several times I come in off duty with my family too, so.
And they still give you those discounts?
No, it's just because I love the food.
Building relationships with customers is a big reason about why I love what I do and why I'm here every day and why I'm staying. You're going to get taken care of.
Literato rocks, so
yes.
If you get a chance to eat here, it'll be worth your while.
To see for yourself if Café Literato truly does rock, you can visit it every day until 9 p.m. at 1920 Northwestern Avenue in West Lafayette.
You know, Danielle, you've been to so many different restaurants here on Purdue's campus and outside of Purdue's campus. What was your favorite one for Purdue Eats?
So my favorite episode of Purdue Eats was definitely when I went to Cell Block 104, and you can find the episode on our YouTube channel, which is Fast Track News. But it was a jail that's been turned into a functional restaurant. So it was so cool to be able to see something so historical that's now something new as well.
Oh, I definitely agree. That was definitely, I think, the funnest time I've ever had, going with you, helping you out for Purdue Eats, as well as doing my story over the history on it, which you can also find that on our YouTube channel. But yeah, I feel like that's been one of the funnest things we've ever done.
Yeah, and it was such an informative segment because a lot of people come here and they don't really know what we offer at Purdue and what we offer off of campus. A lot of people think it's really just like the Union, but that segment showed that there's so many unique places that you can go to eat around West Lafayette and even a little bit further.
That's right.
It just makes me hungry every time, though. So that's the only thing I don't like.
Well, that wraps up our last episode of 2017. Thank you so much for watching.
And we hope you'll join us again next month as we continue putting you on the fast track to all things Purdue.
Happy holidays.
And see you next month.